Hello and welcome. Thanks for listening to the Hangry Mexican podcast. My guest today is really going to make this episode pop with her knowledge of popcorn. She's the creator of Hippy Pop. It's a family-run business out of Santa Barbara. It's a brand of organic popcorn that comes in a variety of wonderful flavors. Her name is Eve Mitchell. And I sat down with her to have a conversation about her product and popcorn and what makes it stand out from everybody else. And she also has some advice on all or anyone out there that is trying to also start their own business. And at the end of this episode, we will have a special promo for all of the listeners so that they can try Hippy Pop. All right, so let's get started. DJ, roll that music. Eve, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Talking to me about popcorn.
Thank you so much for having me.
So just explain to me again what Hippy Pop is and how it all got started.
So Hippy Pop is basically hippie popcorn, which is popcorn with nutritional yeast. My parents would always put nutritional yeast on my popcorn growing up. They kind of learned it from their hippie friends. And so I was kind of making fun of them because they're kind of hippies too. So it's just, it's all vegan, and we use organic popcorn, and we cook it in really good coconut oil and make our own seasoning blends. And then we always finish it with extra virgin olive oil.
So nutritional yeast, I'm glad you mentioned that because I've actually seen in other products, at least in the list of ingredients, I don't see that in like the common things you find at the store, like Doritos, for example, stuff like that. But then I see it on higher end food products, nutritional yeast. So what is that and why use that ingredient?
So nutritional yeast it's a particular kind of yeast that's harvested for human consumption. So it's been deactivated, which it's been heat treated. So it's not alive. It doesn't grow in your stomach. So I wouldn't call it like a probiotic, like some people might think. But it's basically pure protein, fiber, and B vitamins. So it's super, super good for you. And it's especially really important if you're vegan because it's hard to get all your B vitamins, and sometimes protein is actually a little more difficult to get when you're vegan as well. And it also tastes just like cheese. Like it has this umami flavor that is super delicious and addictive. Yeah.
Wow. I think that's where actually I've seen it because we got a bag of chips from Whole Foods just recently. And these chips, they're from this company that uses nutritional yeast on their nacho flavored chips, but it's all plant-based. So it gave me the sense that I was tasting cheese, and I was looking at the ingredients. I'm like, what? I don't see cheese in this. What is going on? And somebody told me, oh, it's probably just a nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I thought I was going crazy. Okay, so then your popcorn has just by using these types of high-end ingredients, they have nutritional value, would you say, compared to popcorn that you just get at the store or even at the movie theater?
Yeah, absolutely. It has a lot more protein than most popcorn does because, again, like the nutritional yeast has, I believe, about 8 grams of protein per 2 tablespoons serving. So there's a lot of protein in there, and also the B vitamins. Most nutritional yeast you find out on the market is fortified with synthetic B vitamins as well. But we believe that's not good for you. Synthetic B vitamins. I mean, sometimes it is, but it depends on your genes and if you can handle that. So we search high and low for a pure, 100% pure, non-synthetic, nutritional yeast. So it's all the all natural B vitamins in there, not some crazy skyrocketed amount.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, every time I hear synthetic, just that word makes me think that it's not natural. It's something that's chemically created that just can't be good for you.
Exactly. And there's a lot of speculation that some people just can't methylate synthetic B vitamins, and it can be sort of toxic to them. So we don't want to poison people. So we we found a good pure one.
And so gluten-free folks can consume this too, this popcorn?
Yeah, it's naturally gluten-free, everything in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's good for everybody all around. Mm-hmm. So then how did the popcorn line get started? And just talk to me about that. Were your parents involved from the very beginning, and how did you come to create your own standalone product here?
My parents were more the inspiration, behind it. The little hippie Sam. That's kind of after my dad is Sam, our icon. And my mom actually always did want to do some kind of company like this, but I never actually knew that until after I started. But she always wanted to do a popcorn with nutritional yeast, product as well. But they've been involved more as support. My mom actually helps me package a lot, or she comes to festivals and hands it out to people. She just loves it. But we started it, my boyfriend and I started it together, and I got a cottage food permit, which is basically means that I could make it from my house, and it's got a popcorn machine and got a logo done, and just started popping it from the house and going door to door at the breweries and the little shops in town, and started slinging popcorn that way.
Now, is your product being sold just here in the Santa Barbara area, or has it expanded to other locations?
It's expanded a bit. It's mostly in Santa Barbara County, but we have some accounts outside as well, like in Virginia. Paradise Springs Winery in Virginia carries it now, and we're expanding more towards like Ventura and Westlake. Our goal is going to be more to expand throughout California first. It just makes sense with shipping and keeping it local, and then kind of work our way in from there.
Okay, so how did it end up in Virginia versus staying in California? How did that happen?
So Paradise Springs Winery, they have a tasting room here in Santa Barbara. And they also have like local wines that they produce in Santa Barbara. But then their main winery is in Virginia, Clifton.
Wow. Local connection. Mm-hmm. It pays off to have that local connection here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what flavors have you created so far? Or which flavors are you selling right now?
So we have 4 core flavors. There's the spicy original, it's like the OG. It has like cayenne and garlic and just all the good stuff. The second flavor is truffle herb. That's actually our most popular flavor. It kind of tastes like truffle rosemary fries or like truffle parmesan. It's really tasty. And for picky eaters, we have Hope Ranch. That was actually created for my niece who didn't like any of the other flavors. So she stayed with me for the whole weekend, and I just made one recipe after another until she liked it. And I thought it tasted exactly like Doritos Cooler Ranch. So we named it Hope Ranch. And then for a sweet one, we do Snickerdoodle, which actually does not have nutritional yeast in it because it's just doesn't taste good with sugar. But it's like a cinnamon and coconut and vanilla and brown sugar.
Oh, wow.
So those are our 4 core flavors. And then every month we're doing a flavor of the month. So if you join our popcorn club at hippypop.com, you can choose a combination of 3 flavors that you want. And then plus you'll get a 4th mystery flavor each month. So for this last month, it's been Italian Hottie, which I have for you to try. It kind of tastes like spicy Italian sausage, like exactly like spicy Italian sausage.
Oh, John Palminteri is going to love that name.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to go wild with it.
Yeah, no, that's going to be awesome. Well, how long does it usually take you to come up with a flavor and implement it?
The flavor initially is about a day. I have the idea of what, what spices and what combination I want to use. And then I end up, refining it over the course of the next week to 2 weeks, or sometimes, like the spicy original flavor that's continually has evolved over the last couple of years, and I've kind of tweaked it. But yeah.
That's great. What is the most popular flavor?
It's a truffle herb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just the name truffle, because people are crazy about truffle. But even when people get to, sample it, eat whatever they want, the truffle's the first to go.
Wow. Wow, that's great. So then, right now you're just you're doing everything out of your home. Do you ever plan on having like a little shop set up somewhere?
Oh, so we don't do it from the home anymore.
Oh,
We're actually
okay.
in a commercial kitchen now, so we produce it all at a commercial kitchen. Otherwise, yeah, it would smell like popcorn in our house. It used to always smell like a popcorn factory. Um, as far as having our own retail shop, like brick and mortar, I don't think it would do that well here in Santa Barbara. I just don't know if there's enough foot traffic to support a just popcorn shop. Unless, the perfect little, like Wetzel's Pretzels kind of location came available that was just tiny and it didn't have too high rent. But otherwise, we sell it online, at hippypop.com. That's, our retail shop. And then most of our sales are wholesale.
So how did your dad feel about using him as the mascot?
Oh, he loves it. It's just like a little tribute, Yeah, it made him very happy.
Okay. Well, he must be very proud that he has a daughter that's making a product just like this. And I mean, I like to think you're very successful at it. Not everybody can sell popcorn and be successful at it, especially of this high caliber. I mean, that's something I think that's very unique about you compared to everything else. I mean, everybody can go buy some kernels at the store and, pop them and then fill them up with butter and whatever. But you really do have a high-end, I think, a really good quality product here that anybody can try.
Thank you.
But what are some of the places that you're looking to sell the product to?
That we're looking to, or that we currently sell?
That you're looking to kind of get into. Like I know before we started recording the podcast, you mentioned movie theaters. You're kind of looking into them, see if maybe they can try and get some of your product in there, or maybe just some other businesses that can sell your product.
So our niche is kind of the breweries and the wineries. And that's where we just feel we belong. It just goes really good with beer and wine. It's a very social snack. So we're at a lot of them in Santa Barbara, most of the breweries and like all over the Funk Zone. And right now we're expanding, with our equipment and our packaging so that we can start growing a little more outside of Santa Barbara County because our production will increase. So I'm going to start just hitting the road and knocking on the doors at all the different breweries and see if I can get them to carry it too.
So this time, is it just you and your boyfriend that are doing everything for the business?
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly me, really. And I have help, packaging it. A lot of the time it's my mom. And sometimes we have another person if we have a lot to do and we can't handle it, just the two of us. And at festivals and events, I get some help as well. But yeah, I kind of wear all the hats right now.
Geez, so this is definitely like a small family-run business.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is fantastic. You just don't hear about this stuff anymore. Well, how do you do that? How do you tackle all the tasks that are involved in a business, from marketing, producing, selling? Oh, how do you do it? What's your process like?
It's time management. I have to allocate my time. So I have, on certain days and times, I have it allocated for production. So I'll just make as much as we can during, Monday, Wednesday, Friday afternoons is when I'll be in the kitchen producing. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll be off delivering and shipping off packages. And in the afternoon and in the mornings, I'll try following up with accounts and, doing marketing and, things like Facebook and Instagram I do in bed. Basically when I wake up in the morning with my coffee, I'll try to sift through that and get something planned. But yeah, it's just, I don't answer my phone all the time because I have to focus on one thing, and I try to, just allocate my time to, where it has to go.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a 24/7 thing practically. Do you ever find a rest anywhere in there? Maybe a time to go out and vacation somewhere? I mean, when's the last time you vacationed?
You know what? We go on vacations. They're usually like 5 days or less, because once it's much longer than that, I feel like everything's just going to fall apart and I have to get back, or I run out of popcorn, because I can have people deliver it for me when I'm gone. But once we run out, I need to come back. So So yeah, it just takes planning, and it takes a lot of work before we go on vacation to build up everything and try to get everybody stocked up and everything kind of smooth running. And then when we get back, it's the same thing. I have to, race to catch up again.
Wow.
So,
Do you take any of your work with you at all on vacation, or is it just if you're on vacation, that's it? Like you just stay away from the business, or what do you do?
if I'm on vacation, my main thing will just be to make sure that orders are getting fulfilled. So I just have to relay the orders to go get delivered or shipped out. Yeah, other than that, I don't really do much else. If I'm gone, I'm gone.
Well, do you keep a log or a book or a diary of some sort with all the recipes that you've created, all the flavors of the popcorn, all the measurements and whatnot on making this popcorn, or you just do it all by?
Oh, no. I have it locked away. I have it written down. Yeah.
That's good. All right. So I got Claire here. Claire is joining us here also on the podcast as my co-host today. Claire, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm curious from the business side with your product, like how did you learn how to do all this? Did you have any mentors along the way? And if people are listening to this podcast want to start their own business, what tips and advice would you tell them?
Absolutely. You know what? I do have one mentor who's kind of become a mentor. I call her my mentor, is at Outer Isle Gourmet. They make this cauliflower crust. They're local here, and they make this amazing cauliflower bread, basically. And they're huge. They've blown up. And so she has been a really generous resource for me when I have any questions. And she actually started a CEO group. Wow. So about once a month, it's with a few other CEOs of the same type of companies, in the food business. We all get together and share information and ask questions and help each other out. So that's huge. I also have a friend, Kate, who is the founder of Swell Foods, or Sun and Swell. And she makes these really delicious little bites with dates and cashews. So she's usually the first person I'll actually call or text if I have any questions, because we're about the same age too with our businesses. So yeah, it's really important in this business, I think, to find other people that, as support, because it's such a unique industry, and we have, very unique problems. It's not the same thing as, selling sunglasses or, jewelry or anything. And so yeah, it's really comforting having some other friends in it.
And it's awesome that you have great mentors to go along with you in this process. And are there any rules and regulations that come with the food industry business that you have to follow? And how has it changed since you started? What's that process like?
So when we started, it was just with a cottage food permit, which was pretty relaxed, with making it from the house. We just had to have an inspection of the kitchen and the house, make sure it was clean and that we had the proper supplies. But then when we moved to a commercial kitchen, we had to get a different permit called a PFR. It stands for Processed Food Registration. And that permit is with the state versus the cottage food is with the county. So that one's a little more strict and has more guidelines. But yeah.
Interesting.
That's the fun stuff.
Yeah. And then do you have to get any certification stamp from any group to be organic or be vegan, or does that just come with what it is, so you put that on your product?
So it depends. So if you want to put organic on the front, it has to be a certified organic product. So everything has to be organic, basically. Ours, we have more than 50% is organic, but not all of it. It's just really hard to find, say, nutritional yeast that's organic, and then especially that's pure. It's just impossible, especially, in bulk. So we have a really good non-GMO one. But I do have to register that we use the word organic on the ingredient list. That's also with the state, the same one that gives the PFR. And then as far as things like vegan and gluten-free, you can write gluten-free on it, naturally gluten-free, but there's a stamp also that you can get that costs money that you have to certify, and you have to pay them every year, and so we basically decided that's just a waste of money, and I'll just write naturally gluten-free on it.
Yeah.
But
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What's been the most difficult thing that you've had to do to run your business? Is that dealing with the government licenses? Is that dealing with the marketing aspect? What has been the most difficult thing out of just running a business?
It's the growing pains. To me, it's not the government. That doesn't scare me. My past career was as a CPA, so I can read regulations and follow rules, even though I don't like to.
Who does?
But no, the most difficult is the growing pains, because just to grow the business, it takes a lot of capital is the main thing. You really need to figure out, money and, money sourcing to put into the company to allow it to grow. And so that can be the most frustrating, because to allow it to just organically grow, kind of like what I've been doing, it's just glacial speed. So yeah, it's more figuring out the financing to let it expand.
Yeah. So you were telling me earlier that the money, any profits that you do make, you have to basically just reinvest it into the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when that happens, what do you? I mean, I'm sure you probably have like a list of priorities of where the money should go to, but yeah, when you have to reinvest all that money back into the company, what's the first thing that you do? Like, where does the money go first?
So it might be to just order larger quantities of ingredients or packaging or whatever, because the larger quantity you order, the cheaper it gets, and you can reduce your costs and help your profit margins. So that's basically the top priority, is just making sure I have all my ingredients and packaging, because, if I'm out of olive oil, I can't make anything. But, to get, say, organic olive oil at a good price, you have to buy a whole pallet, which is, you're looking at $5,000-$6,000. Wow. So versus if you don't want to invest a lot and you want to just, buy as much as you need at a time, you can only spend a few $100s, but your costs are going to be a lot higher. So that's the kind of thing. And then just things like, we got our packaging redesigned, that costs us a few cents. We're going to have to get the packaging printed, so actually I can go grab the bags, but I have the whole design of what our new bags are going to look like. But, you have to order like tens of thousands of these bags at a time. And it's a lot of money up front. So, and the more you grow, the more money you have to keep throwing back into the company, because, instead of ordering 25,000 bags, you want to get up to 50,000 bags, because that'll reduce your cost another 40%. And then that's basically when you can start seeing better profits too, is when you get large enough that you can get all your costs down, because economies of scale. Fun economics.
Are there times when you just kind of think, oh man, I wish I just had like a 5-day job that where they take my taxes out, I don't have to worry about that, and I get to go home and I get time off, pay time off, whatever. Are there any days like that?
Never ever. No, because I do work a lot, but I do what I love. I love doing it. I love that I don't have to do the same thing every day, or even the same thing at, in the afternoon as I did in the morning. I get to continually jump around. And if I really don't want to do something that day, then I can just focus my energy somewhere else. And I also just love creating and seeing this grow. It's kind of like my baby, and now it's like a little toddler, and I just want to like watch it bloom and grow. And it's just so gratifying.
Well, I'm glad you said that too, because there's a lot of people out there that want to not have that traditional job. They just want to be their own boss, but then they start doing something they don't like. So the key, I think, it seems to be, you have to love what you do. Absolutely.
That's so important. It's so important, especially if you're a little rebellious by nature, which I am. And, like, forcing myself to go to an office job doing taxes 60 hours a week, eventually I just ran out of steam and I just didn't want to show up anymore. It gets to a point you can only force yourself to do so much of what you don't want to do. Whereas, doing this, it's like, I'm doing it for myself. I get to create what I want to create. I get to make it what I want to make it. I can make whatever flavors I want and go and, get whatever accounts and, market it how we want, brand it how I want. It's there's so much freedom in it. So yeah, I love it.
Well, and you're not a stranger to cooking, right? You hold a culinary.
Yeah. I did.
degree, is it?
Yeah, I have a culinary degree.
So let's talk a little bit about that, actually, that aspect of your life. Yeah, how did that come to be? I mean, you were I'm assuming in school, taking your just traditional classes. So then, how did you just jump from your traditional way of schooling into all of a sudden focusing on culinary and the culinary arts?
So I actually started culinary school when I was just 17.
Oh wow, is that normal?
So let me backtrack a little bit. So
Okay.
I modeled a lot when I was in high school as a fashion model, and I actually ended up testing out of high school in my junior year when I was 15. I took the California High School Proficiency exam and then just was focusing on modeling for a bit. And when I basically decided I didn't want to do that anymore, that I wanted to go back and get a college degree, so I went back to City College, and I didn't know how to cook a pancake, so I just figured it was a good life skill to learn how to cook. And that was my logic at 17. It's like, oh, I'll learn how to cook. Well, I don't really know what else to study. So I just went forward from there. And that was a 2-year program of culinary arts, and did a lot of, I was like a personal chef, did a lot of catering, and then decided to go back. And I ended up transferring to UCSB and studying business economics with an accounting emphasis.
Wow.
And then went to CPA work from there. And
I think you're the perfect example of somebody that is working in one field, and then you do like almost like a 180 and start doing something else. Like for me, throughout my whole career, I've been kind of sticking to the creative arts in a way, but it's fascinating that there are people out there like you, like yourself, that do that can work in fields that are completely different and then excel in them, but you gain those skills too. And then, I mean, look at you. That's why I think you're running your own business effectively, because you got all these skills that
your left brain and right brain are working together.
Exactly.
And that is fascinating.
Yeah. And when I've taken those little tests, online about left and right brain, mine is 50-50. Every time I've done that, it's 50-50. And I think that's also why, I need to be stimulated on both sides. I need to be able to create, but then I also, need to be the one that's organizing it and having the control. So, yeah, I've heard that that's a quality that's really important in CEOs. You don't have to have it, but it really helps because you can, manage both sides of the business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it makes you a more effective person in whatever you're doing. Like in my case and in Claire's case, we've been out on the field doing news. We're in the news world, in the news business, in the news world, and in our experience in our careers, we have gone out on the field during breaking news or natural disasters. We've seen things in person and recorded that in person. So when we go back to being, in the safety of the studio, of the newsroom, we take that knowledge that we got on the field, and then it just makes us be more effective in the way that we do things back in the newsroom. So I see the same thing in you, that it's just, you're just very effective at what you do. Not a lot of people do that. And I think that's why they say that a lot of businesses, at least this is what I've heard, and you can correct me if you've heard differently, but that it takes about 2 years for the business to make a profit. But in those 2 years, a lot of people that start their own businesses, the business just folds. It's just, they don't know, they're strong at one thing, but they're not another. Like you can be strong at maybe marketing the product, but not making the product, or vice versa. But you're a jack of all trades.
A Jane of all trades.
A Jane of all trades. There you go. Okay, so then back to culinary school.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part about that culinary experience?
The pastry, some breads. I loved the baking, in the pastry shop, and just making all the really good artisan breads and baguettes and ciabatta and stuff like that. That was my favorite at the time. Yeah.
Do you still do dishes that use those culinary skills at home, just on a regular day when you're not busy?
I cook all the time. Yeah. Not. It's funny though. Not breads. Not because now I try to be mostly gluten free, but yeah, I try to cook a lot of like anti-inflammatory foods. It's really evolved because I'm very like obsessed with like nutrition, and so I just try to get as many like vegetables and fermented foods, and I make my own like kefir and kombucha, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's evolved a lot since then.
Wow. Yeah, I try and stay away from products that have ingredients that I can't pronounce. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But if there's going to be somebody going out and shopping for their groceries and looking for their products, thinking that it's a healthy thing, I mean, what is your advice on what to look for? Like what kind of ingredients to look for to kind of be assured that that's pretty healthy?
Well, you should be able to understand the ingredients. I think that's like the main thing. If you can't pronounce it, obviously it's probably kind of weird, or some kind of preservative or chemical. And if anything has, like, we won't use anything like that. So I make sure that we only use like the pure spices rather than getting spice blends that have different weird anti-caking agents or whatever, because I don't know what that's going to do to you. It doesn't seem right. So, and then you should learn what's important to eat organic versus not organic, because it's all about, balance. You need to be reasonable. So there's like the clean 15 and the dirty dozen kind of a thing. So for us, it's really important to have organic popcorn. So we use organic California grown popcorn. It's also important to have organic spices because spices have a ton of pesticides on it. And so we use that. Whereas the coconut oil, it's not actually that important. Finally, to actually just figure that out, that, it's not super important to have organic coconut oil, but it will be more valuable to have organic olive oil. So we're going to be swapping those. So right now we use organic coconut and non-organic olive oil. So it's going to be the opposite.
Oh,
because I just look at, okay, where can we spend our money to keep, the end product, cost effective for everybody, but still give them like the best, health, punch. So yeah, it takes a lot of studying, I guess, too, because I'm kind of, again, obsessed with it. So
well, I think that's very important because a lot of businesses out there, all they care about is profits, money, and they don't care what they put in there, as long as people consume it and keep buying more of it. But you want people to be healthy as well.
Yeah,
so that's really important. Absolutely.
I make it exactly how I would eat it, and I am like a health freak. So I figure if I approve of it, I think it's okay. I'm just not like I'm at home using, I only use organic, this and that. It's like, no, like you got to choose your battles. So, yeah.
Is there anything that you grow yourself that you're applying to your product? Like, do you have a garden somewhere that?
I do. I have actually a garden tower with right now I have all these sugar snap peas growing, and I have a little planter box. I have beets and carrots and potatoes. So yeah, I do a little gardening myself. I'm not very good at it, but I try.
So, in this whole entire conversation, one thing I haven't asked is why popcorn? I mean, you had all this culinary experience where you created the bread and the pastries, and you could have gone with any number of different products to market, but why popcorn?
It's just was my favorite childhood snack, and it still is. I still eat it, and I swear it brings me right back to being a kid and eating this bowl of popcorn with my family. And I would take the popcorn and try to scrape up all the nutritional yeast and all the good bits at the bottom of the bowl, and it was just my favorite thing. So it just brings me so much joy to be able to share that with other people. It might not be the most complicated dish in the world, but it's something that I love, and it's something that I can actually spread with the world. Making a whole, complicated entree dish, I couldn't very well share that with the whole country very easily.
All right, so let's talk about price. So how much does a bag of popcorn retail for?
So the large bags usually retail for $6, though you might be able to find it cheaper in some grocery stores, like Tri-County, for example. They have it pretty cheap. And the small bags are $4. And that's the size that you usually will find at the wineries, and coffee shops.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and I love your design too, because, well, from the get-go, you're telling people basically what it is. You got the hippie mascot. You got a picture of the popcorn and the flavor. So I mean, it's a well packaged thing. And are these resealable too? Oh wow, yeah, that's even better.
And there's a different color theme with each flavor. That's really cool.
Do you want to see what the new bags will look like?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh wow.
And still resealable.
Still resealable. Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you still keep the hippie mascot.
Oh yeah, that's super important. He'll never go. Good. We might add, I think, some other little mascots along the way too.
Oh, there you go. Like maybe make a comic strip or something. The Adventures of Hippy Bob. Wow. No, that's awesome. And yeah, like the material I like. That's really good. Wow. Now this is just for, is it gonna continue using different colors?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm really excited to get these new bags printed, hopefully sooner than later, just because how we do it right now is we have labels that we have to slap on the bags, and it's really time consuming, and it's also really expensive. So I'm looking forward to getting these bags already done, pre-printed for us. Oh, it's a big step for me.
No, that's awesome. Wow.
And it'll definitely be eye-catching in the stores because people may have gotten used to this and they'll say, wait, what is this? And another encouraged for them to purchase it.
Yeah.
The new label option.
Yeah, hopefully.
Wow. That's cool.
So these ones will just be phased out eventually, or is it going to be like a cold replacement?
So I'll keep doing it like our current bags for like the flavor of the month kind of a thing, because I won't get those printed in mass.
Oh, yeah.
Or so anytime I want to experiment with anything new, I'll use the old style bags. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, is there a flavor that you still haven't tried that's been circling in your mind?
That I haven't tried to make yet?
Yes.
Well, let's see. I really want to try like a Jamaican jerk flavor. I also really want to try one with like seaweed and sesame, kind of like a Hawaiian, or like Japanese style. And I also want to try like some like Thai curry, with like lemongrass kind of flavors. Yeah. There's so many fun exotic flavors. I actually have a whole long list on my phone. So I have at least 2 years out worth of, popcorn of the month flavors kind of already planned that I'll actually figure out the exact recipe, the month before I actually launch it in our popcorn club.
And have you tried all these flavors in other foods during your travels, or how do you know what these flavors taste like?
Well, yeah, I actually took a whole year off when I was about 27, and I traveled around the world to about 30 countries.
Oh, wow.
Over the course of a year. So I guess, I've tasted a lot, and, I would like to go out to nice restaurants and exotic restaurants. So that's just how we are in my family. But I haven't had these flavors on popcorn, but I can just I can taste it in my head what it's going to taste like, like Hippy Pop style. So,
and have you been able to find the stuff to make the ingredients, the flavors here, or do you have to import something from a different country to make certain flavors?
Luckily, it's pretty easy to find, most flavors here. Eventually, I might have to just start traveling around the world again to get the good, authentic spices from whatever country I want to represent. But yeah, for now, Amazon is a great resource. There's a lot of different spice shops, online as well that are a great resource.
Yeah. Have you thought about just like you do the flavor of the month, you know, a lot of products out there, they tend to come out with seasonal favorites. Like if it's, you know, during Christmas time, during winter time, they got like some kind of peppermint thing going on. If it's fall, it's like pumpkin spice. If it's, you know,
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing like a holiday line of popcorn?
You know, so what I've done for the holidays is I'll make like popcorn tins and I'll use like a special logo. So I use our Hippy logo, but I made him Santa. So I like so I make his shirt red and then put a little Santa hat on him and, you know, make the whole label red. So that's kind of the special thing I do for Christmas. And then we have a snickerdoodle flavor, which is a very like Christmassy kind of flavor. But yeah, if you have any good ideas of any holiday flavors, let me know.
I probably will. So let's talk a little bit about the Santa Barbara night market, because this was a first for Santa Barbara. You know, it's like an indoor public market that has vendors that sell clothes and jewelry and food, and there's a beer garden in there. How did you get involved in that? I mean, did somebody approach you? Did you seek it out? How did you end up getting into the Santa Barbara night market this past winter time?
So they actually reached out to me. Somehow they got my email. They know the product. And then Katie Hirschfeld from Cultivate Events jumped on board on their team. And she's the one who is really in charge of like Earth Day and the Vintners Festival, which, you know, we do those each year. And so when she jumped on board, then we said, okay, let's do this. You know, Katie's here. So that's how.
Would you go back again?
Yeah, I think we're going to be doing it again this year.
Is there going to be something different that you're going to be doing this year that you didn't do last year?
Maybe.
Is it a secret? It's okay if it is a secret.
It's kind of a secret.
Okay. Then we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
People will have to go and see you at the Santa Barbara Night Market this year to figure out what that secret is.
Yes, please do.
Okay. And what's the current flavor of the month?
So right now it's Italian Hottie. And it depends, when are you airing this episode?
Probably in the next coming days.
The next coming days?
Probably like, yeah. I mean, today's a Saturday for everybody that's hearing this podcast, but it's probably going to premiere on Monday.
Okay, so then it's still Italian Hottie, which I think is actually my favorite flavor, like of all time right now. I love it so much that I think we're going to have to launch it. It tastes like spicy Italian sausage. And it's super addictive. Like I literally will eat the entire bag to myself, and I don't eat that much popcorn usually anymore. But and then in just about a week, it's actually less than a week from this airing, we're going to be switching it.
Oh, wow. So people will have just a few days to
Yes, so you better hurry
get
up.
on that spicy sausage.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to try it? I have a bag here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you reveal what the next flavor is going to be?
I'll give you a hint.
Sure.
It's Middle Eastern.
Oh, yeah.
So we're kind of traveling around the globe with our popcorn of the month.
That's an awesome concept.
It's a nice, beautiful color.
All right, Claire, try it and tell me what you think.
It's good. I like it.
it?
Kind of peppery.
So this one has the spices from Calabrian chili.
Yeah. Yep. You got me.
That's what it is.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely a kick right afterward. Like it starts out all innocent, and then bam, it hits you. But it's a good spicy kick.
Yeah. And so that's the Calabrian chilies powder, which is from the like southern Italy. And so we combine that with fennel and basil and garlic.
Wow.
And obviously nutritional yeast and Himalayan salt. And it just, the combination of it just gives you that yummy
Nice.
flavor.
Am I breaking a sweat? A little bit.
Man, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's yeah. It hurts in the right way. Italian Hottie. You know, I love that the kernels are big. It's like a lot of popcorn out there. It's, you know, a little tiny baby kernel, and you have to eat a lot of it and stuff your mouth with it. But this one, I mean, the kernels are just pretty big.
And it just melts in your mouth.
Yeah,
Like, it's
definitely.
just really good.
Do you ever get
Guys.
do you ever get high on your own supply?
I do eat a lot of it. I always keep some like in bags in my car, and like I said, like I literally just ate a whole bag of Italian hottie to myself the other day. So yes, I'm known to dip into the product.
Do you ever like bring a bag with you into the movie theater, like in your purse or something?
Of course. And that's actually what we
I would
always
do.
did growing up too, is like my mom would always sneak. She would always use those bags that you put like produce in, those little plastic, at the
Yeah.
grocery store. And she would always fill those up with popcorn with nutritional yeast and spices and sneak it into the movie theater.
That's such a
So,
good idea because
yeah.
the popcorn there isn't good for you.
Yeah, they definitely aren't using organic popcorn
Yes.
or, like they don't. I don't know of any that actually use like good oils either. It's usually that kind of hydrogenated, not so good for you oils. So
Yeah. So I was curious if you have any recipes, like regular kitchen-based recipes that you've incorporated your popcorn with, like maybe topping a casserole or I don't know, just anything like that you've experimented with?
you know what I have? I've tried putting it on like mac and cheese because nutrition. You can kind of make like a mac and cheese sauce with nutritional yeast, and so I've used our spice blends, mixed it in with mac and cheese, and it was really good. Or sprinkle it on top of salads or soups. It's also really tasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still considering actually like packaging the seasoning and like kind of little like shaker seasoning blend so that people can, make their own popcorn at home. So
Is that hard to package, and does it involve like a different type of health license or food license to pull off?
really, I mean, I would just have to figure out how to package it, the like what actual like container to use and, have the labels done and stuff like that. But it could kind of piggyback off my current PFR because we'd be using all like the same ingredients. It's still the same kind of product. It's just not using all the same ingredients because we wouldn't be including the popcorn and the oil kind of a thing. So,
Wow.
so.
Do you remember back at the beginning when you started the business, what you had to do before you actually kicked off the whole business, the whole line? Like, what was that process like from when you first created the concept of Hippy Pop and to when you actually got the product out there?
So there's a lot of paperwork there. I didn't realize how many different things you had to get in order. It says you have to, gotta get the business license, had to get the, the health permit, to get the trademark. That was actually like one of the very, very first things that I even did was apply for the trademark because I didn't want to revolve a whole company after a name and then have it not go through. And how to get the logo made. But once the logo was done, all of a sudden I felt like, okay, we're in business now. We have a name, we have a logo, just printed it on a label and slapped it on a bag and called it my product. And that's how it started.
Now, do you feel like you have to pinch yourself sometimes that this is real, that this is happening? When was how was it like when you finally realized I'm doing this?
It's actually funny. Like every time we get a new account or even a sale, because the sales come into my emails and I get to see whenever somebody orders something online, it always makes me smile and it always makes me excited because it's just one step at a time and it's growing and people actually like it, because that was a concern. It's like, I love this. Is everybody else going to like it? And at first it was really scary thinking, okay, we're going to put this out there and nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to want it. And then, it's all just in my head.
So if you could go back in time and with all the knowledge that you have now, what would you tell your younger self to do to kind of ease things or make not freak out about certain things or just kind of make the whole experience a lot smoother?
Oh man, I would mostly just don't be scared, because fear can come in a lot, because even with going out and getting a new account, it can be kind of scary. You're walking in with, say, like a bag of samples and you're trying to sell this product and you can be scared of rejection. but you just can't. You have to just go ahead and do it. And if they say no, that's okay. There's somebody else right around the corner, and you can come back in a couple weeks anyways and try again. So that's the main thing is, actually I have a reminder on my phone that said every day goes off. It says, feel the fear, but take action anyways. And I think that's like the most important. Most in this for me in this business is just, it's okay if you're scared, just do it. And then once you do, you'll realize that wasn't that bad and that you can do more.
I love that. Is there one thing currently that you still see as a challenge that could be either within yourself, it could be an exterior force? Is there something about your business, running your business currently, that you still feel like you have to get over that hurdle?
Yeah, again, I guess it's all about that whole feel the fear kind of thing, is because it is scary because, growing, you have to take leaps of faith a lot of times, and you have to just get over it. And sometimes there can be this voice in your head that's like, oh, I don't know if this is a good idea, or, they're not going to like it. And you can have this like negative voice come in your head, and you just have to, kind of quiet that voice and say, okay, I hear you, but, I'm going to do this anyways. So, yeah.
Wow. Claire, do you have any other questions? Is it?
Thinking about my experiences with popcorn, sometimes when I eat it, I just throw one to my dog. Wondering if like that could be an option in your business line, like dog-based popcorn treats, or is this good enough for a dog to eat, even though I give my dog the crappy stuff that's not this level?
Good question. I don't know what permitting is for, creating products for dogs. I would think that it would be less stringent than for humans, because if it's safe for human consumption, it should be safe for dog. But I don't know. I've never looked at that.
That's a lot of times with me and my mom on the couch, we just always throw our dog a kernel or two, and they just love it.
Yeah. Well, another thing I actually want to do is I want to create like a line for kids too, with like the holeless popcorn. So because it can be a concern for kids, say under the age of 4, to, because of the husk, the hole, because they can choke on it. Yeah. And so there's this popcorn now, this like Japanese white popcorn that basically like doesn't like have any hole to it. So I want to create a little kids line because kids love the popcorn. So yeah, that's one direction I want to go to. There's a million directions I want to go.
Wow. Well, you're on your way.
Thank you.
Great.
So, Eve, before we wrap up the podcast, is there anything that you'd like to say? Maybe I didn't ask. Maybe Claire didn't ask.
Oh, you know what? Why don't I give you a promotion code so that your listeners want to sign up for the Popcorn Club? I'll create this. Let's do Oscar 50. And then that would give you 50% off of the Popcorn Club for your first month. And we'll do that. Let's see, what's the date today? We'll do that through July 15th.
All right.
And let's also do Oscar 20, so you can get 20% off anything else on the website. And we'll also do that till July 15th.
Ah, cool. There you go. This is cool.
The podcast's first promo code.
I know. I love it.
That's fun.
20% off on anything on the website. You hear that, listeners?
So sign up for the Popcorn Club.
So, and where can the viewer, where do they go?
At hippypop.com. hippypop.com.
Awesome.
And if you want to join the Popcorn Club, just click on Popcorn Club and choose which package you like.
Yeah, let's also get the social media in there. Where can people find you on social media?
Yes, you can find us at Hippy Pop SB and the HIPPYPOP SB. We're on both Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect. Yeah. So everybody, you got to join the Popcorn Club and you got to follow Eve and Hippy Pop on social media. And of course, I'll put the links to the social media and the website as well in the description of this episode.
Perfect.
Okay, so I like to end the podcast always with my guests' biggest pet peeves. I just think it's so fascinating, all the responses I get from, it could be something from people cutting people off on the highway to just and I don't know, anything else, opening a door that creaks. I don't know. But Eve, what is your biggest pet peeve, would you say? It could be more than one too.
Peeve.
It's like you always know what they are in the moment when it happens.
I know, exactly. Like I literally just the other day was saying, oh, that's such a big pet peeve. What's my biggest pet peeve? Don't call me late at night when I'm trying to sleep. But I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I fixed that one.
That's awesome.
People trying to have like full on conversations via text message. I just don't have that at all. Like, give me a call or I'll just call them back. I don't really like to text that much, actually. I'm very old fashioned. So pick up the phone.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still remember the times when there was a limit on your texts. Like you get like a certain number
I miss those days.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I need to have an automatic response. I'm sorry, that text was too long. Please give Eve a phone call.
Used to have like one of those rotary dial phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, a landline even. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a landline.
Yeah. Or you know what else is a pet peeve is when people are on their phone at dinner time.
Yes.
That is a huge pet peeve of mine. And it makes me a little mad. I'm like, put your phone away. It's dinner time.
You tell them that?
Yes.
What do you think about these restaurants that are now they're starting to do either promotional stuff or just basically banning phone usage at the table?
I think that's wonderful. I think that more should do that. You know, because it's even just putting across the message, you know, like, hey, you know, enjoy dinner. This is you're out at a restaurant, presumably with somebody, you know, to enjoy a meal together in each other's company. You don't need your phone. So
I saw one news story recently where a restaurant puts all the phones in a basket for the table and then puts it in a locker, and the waitress locked it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like that's hardcore.
Yeah. Well, even Chick-fil-A, I don't know if they're still doing this promotional thing or not, but there was a time when we'd walk in there, and I think it was Claire and I and another friend. We walked in there, and they said, "All right, if you put all your phones in this little box that we're gonna give you, and you leave your phones in there without looking at them or picking them out or anything, just leave them in there for the duration of your meal, you get a free ice cream cone." And of course, like that's all the incentive I need.
Yeah.
And yeah, we ended up getting these free ice cream cones.
Did you snap and upload it to Instagram as soon as you got your phone back?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Free ice cream.
Exactly. Sometimes I even tell Claire, yeah, she's rolling her eyes because you know it's coming. I tell Claire, yeah, put that phone away. Just talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right here. You don't need to text me.
It goes both ways some days, Mr. Flores.
All right. Well. All right, Eve, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Wow. I'm still tasting the Italian hottie in my mouth. But no, thank you so much for being on this podcast. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been so much fun and so nice meeting you both. Bye.
My thanks again to the wonderful Eve. And if she wasn't generous enough with her time, she also provided all of you, my listeners, with a special discount code for Hippy Pop popcorn. So whenever you're ready to try some of this delicious popcorn, head over to hippypop.com. There you'll learn more about the company, but you'll also be able to subscribe to the Popcorn Club. And there's other things on the website that you can buy as well. So 2 promo codes here, so listen up. The first promo code will get you 50% off the first month's subscription of the Popcorn Club. This offer is good through July 15, 2019. Promo code is Oscar50. That's OSCAR 50. Oscar50. Again, that'll get you 50% off your first month subscription to the Popcorn Club. The second promo code is Oscar20. Oscar20 will get you 20% off anything else on the website at hippypop.com. And again, that offer is good through July 15, 2019. Again, just head over to hippypop.com. Use the promo codes when you're ready to try some of this delicious popcorn. I can assure you, you will not regret it. I tried many of the flavors, but of course, there's so many others I have yet to try. And I can tell you that this popcorn just makes you feel a lot better after you consume it, versus anything you can get at the movie theater, for example. That's all smeared in butter and whatnot. But at the same time, it's very delicious. And if you like this episode and this podcast in general, just tell your family, tell your friends. I often say that the best way to get many ears on this podcast is by word of mouth. So just tell everybody. And also rate it. We're everywhere where you can get your podcast. We're on Spotify, Google, Apple, TuneIn, Stitcher. I mean, you name it. Just search for the Hangry Mexican Podcast and it'll come up. If you have any questions or comments, email them to hangrymexicanpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to feature some of those comments or questions in future episodes. Thank you again for listening. Until next time, good night and good luck.